And this actually leads us to the second item, right? So if you look at moving beyond just your main areas here, this is the site that a lot of times gets overlooked, especially if you miss this step, then anything else you do is going to be limited in terms of what value you get out of it. I am continually surprised, and I can probably speak for a lot of my colleagues here, when I engage with a customer and I'm educating them on the latest and greatest, they're very surprised to know, oh, you can get visibility into the cloud. And nowadays, that is like table stakes for observability. There's so many workloads that are moved to the cloud. It's really a part of most organizations' infrastructure now. Having the ability to see traffic in your cloud environments in the same tooling that you have to see on-prem traffic or your virtual environment traffic goes a very long way. Right? Having it all in one view where you can correlate everything together significantly increases and speeds up your ability to react to things. We go beyond this though, and we look at also remote sites. So whether, again, this is vertical specific, whether it's clinics, if you're in like a hospital system, could be banking centers or retail locations, depending, again, depending on vertical, right? Anything you have that's remote is going to have where people access or people reside or you have workloads that exist. You want to have some level of understanding of what traffic is moving in and out of those locations. What makes this oftentimes a challenge, and this is where I think a lot of time there's a breakdown, is depending on that environment, it may not be straightforward of configure NetFlow, configure IPFix, SFlow, JFlow. It may not be a traditional flow type export. So, and I'll use cloud here as an example because cloud uses what's called flow logs, right? Whether it's AWS, Azure, Oracle, Google, they all follow a similar path where they provide some type of cloud flow log that instead of being sent to a NetFlow collector, is typically fetched, right? And it's typically like a JSON or some other type of XML format, not your traditional flow format. So a lot of tools have to actively develop and plan ways to ingest that. So as you look at your observability platforms and you look on the market, you look at what you have today, a couple things you want to keep in mind, right? There's a lot of ways that vendors will support this type of export. Some will use agents, right? I'm not a big fan of agents. They have their place, but where you can get away with not using an agent, it's usually a win because agents, I don't give you guys the agent speech, right? The complexities, issues you may have with compatibility, upkeep, maintenance on those, right? If you can get away with like an API call or some type of, like I said, fetch mechanic, the better, right? Because then again, it's less maintenance, less overhead, less things you have to worry about from a complexity standpoint. So keep that in mind, right? Checklist number 2, cloud workloads, external remote sites, oftentimes you need something other than traditional NetFlow.